Do you really want to be the healthiest version of you? Because if so, I'm going to show you exactly what may be causing you to come up short and how to start succeeding in being a healthier version. Hey, in case you don't know me, my name is Jason Chaney, and I specialize in helping people transition to a plant-based diet to lose weight, but most importantly, I help them tackle their self-image when it comes to their food home. And so I really want to ask you this question, like, do you really want to be healthy? And if so, do you want to keep the same habits that you have now? Because if so, you will never be able to get to the health that you desire. And the reason being is, let's first just go ahead and define what is a habit. And so a habit, by definition, is a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. And the biggest thing with our health is we have an eating habit, and most of us never take the time to identify what that eating habit is. And if you're not familiar with it, I call it the food home, because there's certain amounts of foods that we eat each day, every day, on a day in and day out basis that we always go back to. We have foods that we go to on seasonal occasions, such as Thanksgiving, Christmas, Mother's Day, all of these different foods. And if you don't start tackling these, you will never be able to get healthy because your habits are inside your food home. And so the reason why this is real important is because there's only 3 times that we change our food home, or the habits of how we eat. The first one is when we're actually born. That is placed upon us. And when it's placed upon us, that's what the food that our family gives us. So like if you come from a family where they feed kids pizza crust or things like that, pizza or spaghetti, solid foods at a young age, that is part of their habit. But also someone who grows up in a family that eats a lot of sweets and candies and stuff like that. It's not that the child has a sweet tooth or you have a sweet tooth. It's that your food home was developed on a sugary based foods. And so we have that. And then the second time our food home actually changes is when we're in high school. And so what I mean by that is we start going more to whatever the school lunches is giving us. So like for me, for example, I went from eating, more regular foods, stews, stuff like that, pastas, to eating pizza and chili cheese fries, because that started becoming your food home. You're spending most of your time each and every day inside the school, so the food that they're providing you, the food that is available there, becomes a new food home for you. And then the third time we actually start changing it is we change it once we get independence. Now for the average American, this becomes 18, 19 years old, because either you're going off to the military or you're going off to college, and you're usually going away far from home. So you're no longer eating the foods that your family cook. You're actually eating the foods that are readily available to you again. And this is how your food home changed. Now, this is what we are not taught. No diet program is teaching you this. Your health coach in high school isn't teaching you this. Is by the time we hit 26 to 28 years old, our food home stops. We close it. We don't add any new foods in there. We may try different things every blue moon. Like if you're someone like, you may try sushi or you may try an Indian restaurant or something, but your food home itself does not change. Meaning from that point on, once you hit 26 to 28, you're not eating anything different than what you've ate, most likely since you've been 18 or 19 years old. And most of us go our whole life eating the exact same foods that we've been eating combined from birth, high school, and once we first left the home, for the rest of our lives. And this is how we become unhealthy. And so the thing about it is, if you start breaking those habits and start finding out your food home, you can start changing them into healthier habits. Now that doesn't mean you have to eat bland food. It doesn't mean you have to eat exactly like I eat, but you can't eat the way that you eat now. And this is the problem. So like I was watching a cooking show yesterday, and I was watching and I was really, really amazed. I'm like, wow, that is so much fat. That's so much stuff that's unhealthy in the food, and people who were eating it, and they were just like, oh, this is so great, this is so good. So he made like a chicken fried steak out of 80-20 beef, ground beef, which is full of saturated fat, full of cholesterol. Basted it with a garlic butter gravy. We're talking about more saturated fat, more high cholesterol. Then put mashed potatoes with heavy whipping cream, put some cheese in there and some butter. We're talking about even more saturated fat, more cholesterol. Like all of these things that we're eating, and we're thinking we're eating different foods, and that whole meal was nothing but saturated fat and cholesterol. There was nothing in there healthy. And this is why understanding your food home, or the habits of how you eat, is very important. Because if you don't start seeing it, you will not put the mental connection that, oh wait, everything that I eat on a day in and day out basis is giving me the health that I don't want to have. And so when people are like, Jason, oh, this is amazing. How did you do this? Oh, you're so spectacular. No, I'm not. I took the time to change my habits. I took the time to actually identify my food home. Like one of the foods that I actually still crave to this day, and it's because it's in my food home and it's a memory to my grandmother. So every time I think about this food, I think of seeing my grandmother cooking it, just sitting in her kitchen in Oak Cliff and watching her making it from scratch. A triple layer jelly cake. Now, if you know me personally, you know I don't like sweets. I eat very few sweets. Like I'm a person that can eat maybe a donut once a month and I don't need anything else sweet to eat because I'm not a sweet eater. I'm a spicy eater. But that is something even to this day that I still crave. Something that I know I would never eat, but it's part of my food home because it's an emotional connection towards my grandmother. As a kid, when I used to watch her make these beautiful triple layer jelly cakes and making the jelly from scratch with watermelon rinds and strawberries and things like that. Like this is how powerful our food home is. If you don't take the time to actually discover it and see how you can change it, you will never have the health that you want. And your doctor is not going to be able to give you health. There's not going to be a pill in a magical bottle that's going to give you the health that you want. Only you can do it by eating the right foods. And now we live in a world now where science has caught up to us and it's showed us like, look, there are certain foods we're just not supposed to eat. Like 600,000 people are going to die this year. 600,000 people are going to die next year. Every year, at least 600,000 people are going to die. That means 600,000 families are affected every year from some heart-related death. And it's all because we eat so much cholesterol. If you don't eat cholesterol, you don't have those issues. You can go watch Dr. Neil Barnard on YouTube. He's the founder of the Commission for Responsible Medicine. And he's a plant-based doctor. He used to smoke. He used to eat meat, all of these things until he found out the truth. And one of his studies where he found out that if your cholesterol is under 130, there is no chances of you having heart-related issues. Meaning if we just cut back our cholesterol just a little bit, like we can do better. We can have better health. We can have more time with our family, with our loved ones. So like this is very important. And just to even complement this, like I want to read a passage from James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. And so just to let you know, like, why do I read these different passages from the books and all of this? Is like, I study this every day. Like I spend about 3 to 4 hours studying this. Like I study philosophers because they actually tell you the truth about how we're supposed to live in this world, the things that, modern science isn't going to tell us. Big food companies aren't going to tell us this because they have a monetary gain that they want. They don't want you to change your eating because they want your money. They don't care about you getting sick. I do care about you. I'm sick and tired of seeing people leave this plane, leave this earth each and every day from something. And it's like, if we just took one little bit more control of our health, we just took a little bit more control about what we're actually eating, like we can live a little bit longer. We can be here a lot longer. We can feel better, have more energy. Like even if you don't believe that, oh, I want to live longer, like don't you want to have more energy? Don't you want to just feel better? Don't you want to have clearer skin? Don't you want to be smaller? Like this whole thing with like this body positivity movements, all of this crap out here that's trying to tell you be fat and happy. And then every time you see someone who's big, they're not happy. You watch something on TV where there's a reality show or something, and if someone is overweight, they're disappointed and depressed because, oh, I can't compete in competitions. Oh, I can't fit in these clothes. So why do you want to be fat and happy? Be happy. You don't have to be fat to be happy. Be happy. And I'm telling you, like right now, I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I can tell you from personal experience, when I was 550 plus pounds, there was not one damn day that I woke up happy. Every day I woke up, I was cursing. Why in the hell did I wake up again just to live like this? And like I'm telling you, don't have to keep living like that. You can have a better life, but you have to start controlling these habits. So let's get into this passage. And if you read this book, or if you're looking for the books, this is in chapter 5 of As a Man Thinketh from James Allen. The chapter is The Thought Factor in Achievement. And he says, before a man can achieve anything, even in worldly things, he must lift his thoughts above slavish animal indulgence. He may not, in order to succeed, give up all animality and selfishness by any means, but a portion of it must at least be sacrificed. And really think about that, like how much slavish animalistic indulgence do we have now? We're in a world where you can go buy 100 pieces of chicken for nothing. Like we now eat so much animal consumption in this world. Like he was speaking so much truth, and this is from the early 1900s. And look how this applies to today. And because most of us are not willing to give up those slavish animal indulgences, the meat that we're eating, the cheese, the butter, the milks, and just switch to the plant-based products to them, and just a little bit, we're not having the health that we want, and our family is sacrificing because of our indulgences. And like when people say like, "Oh, Jason, how did you do this?" I gave up all of my animal indulgences. I stopped being a slave to what I was eating. I stopped being a slave to what other people was telling me to eat. I also stopped being a slave to what science was telling me to eat. And I started discovering what I had to eat on my own. And this is how I found out this truth. It's not any other way that I was able to do it. I didn't wake up one day and you didn't see me wake up and like, "Oh, I'm 230 pounds now. Oh, I just woke up and I lost all this weight." It took me giving up those animal indulgences. And if you don't want to give them up, well, do you really want to be healthy? And you got to ask yourself that question. If you don't want to be healthy, that's fine. That's your life. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you really do want to be healthy, you have to start giving up something. To be successful in life, it means giving up. It doesn't mean going and gaining all of this knowledge. It's about how much you're willing to give up to make room for the success that you want. And that's all it takes. And so I hope you got some value from this. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're really wanting to actually start giving up some of these animal indulgences, start eating a little bit healthier, like you don't have to do exactly like I do. I still work with people who do not eat exactly like I do. They still eat meat here and there. And that is okay. Like that's the thing I want you to understand. Like don't look at what Jason do and feel like you have to be me, because only I can be me and only you can be you. And if you really want to be free, you have to figure out what it is that you want. And so if you want to just give it up in moderation, give it up in moderation. If that means you only eating meat on Tuesday and Thursday, do that. But be specific in it. Make a decision on it and commit to that decision. Don't give in and say, "Oh, well, I did it for a month. Let me go back to eating normal." Because then you're just going to go back to the normal health that you was used to. And so I hope you got value from it. Make sure you hit the like button. If you know someone that could use value from this that's really struggling with losing weight or trying to just get healthier, especially if they're struggling with some of the biggest lifestyle issues such as heart issues, diabetes, even some forms of cancer or lifestyle issues also, like just share this video with them to let them know, like, look, there's people out here that are actually changing their lives. There's people out here that's becoming healthier. There's people out here that's thriving in life, and you can also. You just got to start believing and start figuring out, what do you want to give up? And if you, like the book says in As a Man Thinketh, if you give up some of your slavish and animalistic indulgences, you will start getting the success that you want, especially when it comes to your health. So I hope you got value from it. Also, if you wanted to follow more of this type of content, just click the link up above or below, depending where it is on your screen, and just subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I put a lot of different things and a lot of different shorts out there for you also. And so have a great Monday. Stay supercharged.